Good evening, everyone. That's a couple of seconds before the countdown. My apologies, but I think you can handle that. So that was a bit of an issue with the previous live stream, and I now notice that I both do a vertical and a horizontal live stream. So those of you who watch a vertical live stream, you'll be seeing this. Check out my channel and go to the horizontal one with I think it has the countdown in the thumbnail. Good evening. As you can see from the title, we are today we're going to work with the Icelandic trio from Crema. First of all, I'm just going to wait till there's a little bit more people. Maybe from the vertical, go check out the full screen version if you're interested in making paint and pigments. Yeah, there were some more replies in the previous stream. But it should work now, I think. Ruby, welcome. Ian, obviously welcome. Paolo, good to see you again. I tweaked a little bit in the settings from last time. Everyone from the vertical stream, welcome. Fat Filbert, welcome. Good to see everyone joining already and joining again. Thanks, Fat Filbert. Appreciate it. Also fixed that. There was an update and now my microphones are working again. Hopefully without an echo. So I take it from you that it doesn't have an echo. So that is a good thing. There's a little bit more surroundings from that camera. Not just me, but also, you know, the things I always brag about. Pigments. Any other technical stuff? I do have an extra light over here, but you know you don't see that, so I shouldn't even mention that. So for those of you who are just joining us, everyone from the vertical stream, hello. We are going to work with the Icelandic trio, Icelandic green, red and yellow. Those are noisy pigments, so be prepared for that. Quite gritty. Ian paints self all the time. Well, it's good for you. You know, everyone has a thing. Good for you. I know I've spoken about Eve Klein before on this channel, especially when it came to ultramarine blue. But painting bodies and using that as a brush, it is a thing, literally. So the Icelandic trio, rocks found, volcanic rocks found in Iceland, from 3 sites. I have no idea how to pronounce these, so I'm not even going to try. It's a green, a red and a yellow, and the pigment number over there says NA, not applicable, since it doesn't have a pigment number. Same as Vivianite, for instance, doesn't have a pigment number. Though I did print pens. So for the Icelandic green, for instance, I can show it to you. I did print a pen that says Ice G dots. and obviously my brand. So the Icelandic green pen, same for red, yellow, ice R and ice Y, to show you which one is which. I didn't have that before. I had an NA pen, not applicable. But Icelandic green, when this dries, it looks an awful lot like Vivianite grey, which also doesn't have a pigment number. And although you can swatch it and then see the difference, dry in a pen, not so much. Which made it quite difficult for myself, since in my dehydrator over there, I have little shelves for, you know, all the reds, all the violets, the oranges, yellows, blues, greens, browns, blacks and whites, and the natural pigments. And when they kind of mix up, all the NAs mix up, well, the red and the yellow obviously are very different from this one, but this one is very similar to Vivianite grey, which makes things difficult. So I wanted to do this before, but I printed other pens for it. And thank you, Paolo, for the Ice Baby. I understand. Let's have a quick look at something over here. Let's take this down just a notch. I think that is going to be better. Okay, so let's get that out of the way and move these over here. Let's start with the green first. Oh no, first, I know, thank you for being that person, Paolo. First I want to show you a new tool. Since it's only been 5 minutes since I started, there's a couple of things I need to do. Obviously I need to beg you for liking this live stream. Other than that, I'm going to show you a new tool I acquired, which is a gloss meter. And why a gloss meter? Well, amongst like at least a million things that I'm working on and doing and trying to do or start or give it a place in my head or on a piece of paper or on the whiteboard, I have a gloss meter because I wanted to know mica pigments, which one is shiniest. And obviously you can actually see it here. You have this is the pink, the rose mica that I have, and this is the white mica that I have. And the white mica is actually mixed with titanium white and zinc white. And the rose one is just zinc white and a bit of, I think it's earth red or a quinacridone magenta. I don't know. But as you can see here, and you need to calibrate it every time you start it, you need to calibrate it. And when it says 100 here, the bottom one, that's the most shiny thing you can have. It's 100% reflection. This is the white one, the white with mica, and it says 4.1 at a 85% angle. This is a 60% angle, 20% angle. So this one says 4.1. The rose one is actually way higher, especially in a lesser angle, where it's 18, and this one 7. So this 10% more light that this reflects than the white, which kind of you know, blew me away. But, and then I'm going back to the chat. I have 3 golds. I have a yellow gold, green gold, and a deep rich gold. And when I'm going to compare those, yellow gold has a 12.2% reflection in the middle there, 13.8, so that's a bit more for the green gold. And get this on there, and this is my rich gold, which has a 16.2. Although they do look very similar, you can see it a little bit. You can see that this is a little bit more reflecting, but now we have a measurement. So now we have a tool that actually measures the amount of reflection. It's a percentage powder, yes. So it's a percentage of light reflected, 100 being everything. So new tool for research, like studio research, not a scientist at all. Just a hobbyist researcher with the tools that I can, get. But I thought this is kind of neat to look when I'm working with shimmers and trying new shimmers out to get the highest percent of reflectance and shimmeriness. When I'm working with aluminium pigment or mica or maybe a mix, you name it. Has your experience been as an Etsy seller? How has my experience been? That's a overall quite good. I'm not talking Etsy policies. I'm not talking all the issues that Etsy has at the moment on in which country they do which things, or how much of percentage they take, because it's quite a lot. But when we're talking about SEO, search engine optimization, I noticed that when I put new things in my Etsy shop, it's like within a day they're on Google when you look for a certain pigment, and quite high as well. When you are using your own website or another web shop, I know those results will be much lower. So that's my experience. Mostly, like, if you're findable, Etsy is great. Otherwise, I think people who don't use Etsy anymore and use their other things, you need to do a lot more for shipping and taxes and stuff like that. Etsy does a lot of that stuff, but once you kind of figure that out yourself, which I didn't have the time for at all, it can save you some money. So I think those are the most general kind of findings that I have. I like the platform for what it is. It has its limitations, but also, there's quite a few good things. It should compare the intensity of incandescent radiation and reflecting. I have no idea what you mean with that, Paolo. I'm sorry. Oh, Mark doesn't know as well. Ian, you like my NYX color tester. Thank you. Yeah, it is a great job. You have photo spectrometers and colorimeters for photography as well. This is just really made for mostly paint swatches or surfaces. Paolo, explanation. It shines a line in an angle and then measures the light that is reflected at the exact same angle on the other side. Yeah, this is exactly what this does in 3 angles. So you can actually, I don't know if you can show. Yeah, I can show you. You can actually see it. So there's 3 lenses on one side, 3 lenses on the other side. I like that you have to kind of calibrate it every time before use, and it's quite heavy as well. It's like, this is plastic, but it's a very heavy thing with a battery, which is convenient. Now the basic NYX is just a colorimeter. The spectrum. I'm out of sight, but the spectra over there, this one does give you a spectral reflectance curve in your app or on the desktop. To answer Paolo, you calibrate it with this. So it's a high gloss piece of glass, which at 85% gives 100% reflection. So it's just basically the cover of it, so it's nice. Okay, let's get started. 13 of you there, and I see 6 likes. There must be something wrong with my counter. Sorry about that. Let's start with the Icelandic green first. And let's have a look if I am still live. Yes. Okay, so I see that Durwood, K-Art, Mr. Pigment, you are all in the vertical stream. Hop onto my profile, check live, and the other stream, which is quite confusing, I have to admit. Really, I'm going to have a look if I can just check the vertical stream here on my phone to see if I can check that. Okay, that's good. Okay, so now I have 2 screens. And I noticed this is a very... okay, this isn't optimal at all. So please go check out the horizontal screen if you are in the Shorts live stream. I tried that just, to explain why I have 2 streams. I tried that last time, it didn't work. This time I didn't want to do it, and it actually worked. I didn't even put the settings in for it, so I don't know what was going on there. But apparently in the YouTube Shorts, when you scroll YouTube Shorts, which you scroll through it, not like YouTube long form sitting for a video and just watching it, but you scroll through the videos like Reels and TikToks, and then you see lives just popping by, and apparently that helped for your, I don't know, few account followers, getting more people to your channel. So I thought, let's try that. And I had quite some issues with setting that up to work at the same time. And I have to say, there is a less delay in my Shorts video than it is on my horizontal video. So that is frustrating. But anyway, I see the Stephanie is also in the vertical stream. Hello there. Pop to my channel, check out the live things, and I am like in a horizontal full screen view on my channel as well. But thanks for joining. Okay, so as you can hear, it's not the most gritty one, wetting the pigment, but I need to start mulling. Still, it's not the worst. It's not the worst. It's not really green, is it? It's a grayish greenish. Yeah, sentient, true, but I run everything through OBS. and I use the exact same software and hardware to get this on there. So it's weird that it's yeah, I don't know. It's actually helping this light. Let me just check it with pigments on there. Let's just do it without it. Let's check that. Only difference between the vertical stream and the horizontal stream is that I'll use a different stream key. So maybe it's the YouTube encoding part that makes it, you know, the latency better. I don't know. Yep, Mark, this is green. Icelandic green. So when I swatch it, and especially when I swatch all of them next to each other, the yellow isn't yellow as well. I mean, yellow ochre is way more yellow than this. Green earth is way more yellow than this. But when you see them next to each other, you know what I mean with that. This would classify as a green. What, Paolo? Okay. So it feels like it is quite ready already. As a paint, it feels quite smooth. It goes quite easily, scrapes quite easily off my plate. Hi Ryder, in the vertical screen as well. If you go to my channel and look up the live tab and click on the different one, you will be in the original feed, which is a horizontal feed. So 2 live streams today, a vertical and horizontal one. Just to show you that this isn't quite just ready yet. It's not perfect. It's not terrible. It's not perfect. It starts kind of scraping here around 50 micrometers, and I wanted to do that around 30. So we need to mull a little bit more. I'm just going to get a cloth for cleaning it. Also, a good thing about joining us in the horizontal view, the vertical shorts live only has a close-up from above, whereas you here get all the views. I don't know if you're happy to see me as well, but you see everything that I'm doing. So, you know. Yes, it's Icelandic green. Thank you, Ian. So we need to mill this a little bit more. Just going to get dried pigment off my plate a little bit like this. Since we need more water anyway, let's saturate the water with pigment, right? So there were some settings that I also changed. I looked up what kind of things go wrong. There's still, you know, I'm wearing a black shirt in a dark background, and my head is like that. Highlights are overexposed and stuff like that. So I need to wear something lighter if I want to avoid that, or get a very expensive camera, which I can't afford. And really, you know, just for live streaming, I think this works. If you don't agree with me, please share it as well. But I looked some things up, which are the best settings for the computer that I have, at least the software, the brand, the operating system, the software that I use, and the place that I stream at. So I kind of tweaked the settings a bit. Hopefully that works for the video quality or the sound. If it's not noticeable as an improvement, it's okay. If you see that it is actually worse than last time, please let me know as well, since no, I'm not starting with those names. No, I'm not even going to do it. A little bit more noise in the sound. You mean? Which could be in the video, or then I need to check that. Thanks. Well, I do have to say that I did change the encoder, but that should actually work better with an Apple computer than the one that I use. So I don't know what happens then, if it's worse, but well, I'm going to set that back to what it was for the next one. It could also be, let me just check one more thing. Let me just check one thing. Can we do that? Going to switch to that. Going to take this off. Could you check if this is an improvement? If so, this was a software thing from my side. If not, it's the encoder, which I cannot change now. I'm going to check it later. So for a pigment like this, if you need to mull it finer than it's already like being sold in the bottle, it takes quite some, well, it takes quite some practice to notice the difference on the slab. But luckily we have tools for measuring things here. And luckily I do have the experience where I can feel it on the slab. So I can feel it mostly everywhere. On the sides, not so much. So these sides, I feel it's a little bit more coarse than in the middle. This is Icelandic green rider. It's a volcanic pigment. And during this live stream, I'm also going to make, it's like from Iceland. So, I'm also going to make the Icelandic red and yellow volcanic pigments. So, if there are any questions about paint making while I'm working here, please just drop them in the chat and I'll answer them as soon as I see them, or as soon as I have the full focus and attention that you deserve. How did the PG-18 batch come out? Well, okay, so let me just take a pen for you. I thought about it, so I'm putting it right over here. Good that you asked. Let's try together. From where this green is that a small fishing community on the west side of Iceland, where the green comes from. That is some improvement. Let me just double check it. it's a bit better. So it needs a little bit more time. Still starting here at 50, but less coarse than it was before. So it's actually not that bad. The worst one is at 45, I think, starting at 45. So let's mull it a little bit more. I don't want to mull it too much. I don't want to over mull this, since it is a mineral pigment. And overworking it, making it too fine, loses, you know, makes you lose color, but also texture, which is quite, for me, quite important with mineral paints, since that's what makes it unique. Like lapis lazuli, a pure mineral version versus PB29 synthetic ultramarine blue. It's not just the color difference, which it actually doesn't have when you have, almost doesn't have when you have the purest lapis lazuli. But it's almost impossible. But the texture is just there, and that's what makes it special. Did I hear about the synthetic oxide pigment changes? The color are massively different now. Mr. Pigment, synthetic oxide pigment changes. Well, from where? From what? Which country? If you don't want to name brands or manufacturers. I noticed with natural pigments, like what was it, 2 weeks ago, I shared that on a story where I had red ochre from a big brand, and the exact same bottle pigment or product number, and you know, color name, everything was the same brand, same everything, and there was such a big difference. It hurts, things like that. I mean, it's natural, yes, but that much of a difference, then, you know, make it, sell it in batches. Sorry, kind of waiting on what you're talking about. Which Spanish maker do you buy from? I know. Oh, there you are. I know three of them, but you already gave me the answer there. I don't have any pigments from them, actually. I know them. I have a list of suppliers, and there are some of them, you know. I usually only try out new suppliers now. When I am in need for a new pigment. So if we want to introduce a new color and there's a multitude of suppliers selling that pigment, usually what I do is I call all of them and say who manufactures your pigment, and it's an answer I barely get from sellers, since, you know, if it's BASF or Sun Chemicals or Shepherd or any big pigment manufacturer, if 3 stores buy from the same manufacturer, it's the same pigment. It's as simple as that. But there are pigments that have like 5 or 10 different manufacturers worldwide, and the pigments also differ a bit, or they have exclusive pigments for their brand. It is it's a bit weird. But I call them, and if they don't answer me, I just buy the smallest amount of pigment possible from that seller, and then I start comparing the pigments from all the sellers and looking which one I like best for my line of paint. But I need it to be, it's not like I can buy them from eBay, or I can buy them on Etsy or something like that from small sellers or secondhand or anything like that, since I want to be consistent in the paints that I offer, and I can't do that if there's not more of the pigment. Like I can make limited edition batches, like I have with the PB17, which I sell is actually a limited edition, but I have quite some of the pigment. Same goes for manganese blue, PB33, quinacridone, gold, burnt orange, and orange. Quinacridone russet, things like that. So the discontinued ones, but also natural pigments. I try to buy in bulk to at least be able to guarantee the same paint for quite a while. But sometimes I just can't get more, or need to make like a small batch. I'm just checking, is everyone still here, since my stream just stopped and I don't know why. Okay, so this was weird. I'm very glad that I have an Ethernet cable, since everything runs through my computer, and my Wi-Fi just crashed. So both my phone and my tablet were like, the stream completely stopped there, but it still went going. So that's good. That's good. Good to hear. Thank you. It's kind of in shock, but no need for that. So let's fill this up just a bit. It's quite thick, as you can see. It sets quite easily. The weird thing is, it's like a what is it called? A non-Newtonian fluid, I think it's called. When I put this in a bottle and I shake it, it becomes very, very fluid and very, very liquid. And when I let it not set, but when I leave it on my slab like this, it gets like very sticky, and it's not solid, but it doesn't really move that much anymore. It doesn't want to flow. It just blobs. I don't know if that's a word, but it blobs. You know what I mean when I say blobs, when I show you this, right? Tanya, in the vertical view, check out my channel, and there's a horizontal view as well. So I'm actually filling the pans here, but in close-up on my other camera, on my profile, there's a full frame version of this stream. So Tanya, if you can hear me, go check that out. But for the vertical viewers, there. That's what I mean with it blobs. Thought I'd changed my background. It is called non-Newtonian fluids, right? Okay, I've paid attention, enough attention to throw with terms like that. How many milliliters of paint do you think you ultimately put in your finished pan? Mark, I have no idea how much milliliters of paint. I know what it is dried. It's about 2.5 milliliters that go in these pans. But when we're talking wet paint, I have no idea. Welcome, Tanya. I have no idea what the amount of milliliters would be, and I'm really honest there, since I can't do it by weight. It's different for each pigment. I can't really do it by volume, since some pigments have way more water content in them than others for mulling them properly. Like this, I put quite a lot of water in them, but like a non-Newtonian fluid, the water isn't really noticeable in its liquid state. So I don't know how much that would evaporate when in comparison to, for instance, an ultramarine with the same consistency, which makes it quite difficult. Sebastian, welcome. Well, you're not late. This is just the first pigment I'm making, and I've already been streaming for almost an hour. Like, no, it's 15 minutes. But this is the first of 3 Icelandic pigments that I wanted to make tonight. But guys, I'm going to be really honest here. I don't know if I can make it. Like, make all 3 of the pigments into paint today. Quite tired, and I've already had like a working day of paint making behind me, so yeah, Ian, absolutely right. I used to do that as well. But yeah, you can keep track. You can keep track of milliliters like that. Obviously, you can. Okay, so to answer Mark's question in a different way, I can check out how much milliliter of a certain pigment I can put in the paint, but it won't be the same amount with every pigment. Sebastian, thank you so much. What is going on there? What did just happen? You bought 2 kilograms of malachite for $25. That is an awful lot of malachite for very little money. That is 2 kilograms of what kind of quality malachite are we talking about? I'm going to check it for you, Mark, in, you know, with a pigment one time. Okay, I'm just going to take a piece of malachite and ask if it's kind of comparable to it. Let's have a look. I have this is a, it's not really clear with the camera, not at all. Can we out of focus here? Yes. This is the malachite I have from the box of Kramer, and I have a jar of malachite somewhere which is a little bit more green than this, but I don't know where I left those jars after I put everything in its new place here in the studio. We forgot something, guys. Let me just take a little bit out of a very full pen and a little bit more. We need to swatch. Isabelle, you are joining the vertical chat, I see. Welcome, thank you very much. If you go to my channel, you can join the horizontal chat with stream with an active chat and multiple views. So everyone in my vertical stream, check out my channel for the horizontal screen, since well, it's a little bit more interactive, and I think the experience is a little bit better. Let's have a look over here. So we're going to swatch it and see if it actually is a green pigment. It's greenish. Like, you shouldn't expect a phthalo green from anything natural. But green earth is more green than this. We're going to let it dry. And we're going to compare it with the yellow and red. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Wow. Lucky you, I think. But please, I think you know. I think I know you know. be careful with malachite. It contains copper, and it's the powder. When you inhale it, it's quite toxic. So please use it with caution. Well, Mark, you go get a pickaxe and, you know, make some pigment. I'm happy to make some paint out of it for you. Let's have a look. Natural malachite as well, Isabelle. Has it arsenic in it? Arsenic? The pronunciation of arsenic in English is so much different than in Dutch. The word is entirely different. But okay, Isabel, I fully believe you. I trust you. But there's no but in trusting you. Why don't they tell that when they sell the pigment? As I mean, it's arsenic and copper are two completely different things, and although they are both part of Paris green, but apparently also malachite. So I didn't know about that. And there's no mention of it on the seller's websites as well. So, like I said, I believe you. If it's fully correct in every version of malachite, natural as well, I think they should mention that. Well, at least that's one pigment I'm not going to make myself then. Wasn't planning on it, to be honest. Sebastian, please be careful with that. And I really hope it arrives at your home if you if you have if you want it for collecting it, for all the paint makers and pigment lovers and collectors out there. If you want to have or see Paris green in real life, and if you come across some on eBay, sometimes it really doesn't arrive since it doesn't pass customs. Well, and if it does arrive, please be careful. Please be careful. Okay, so there's a discussion about the arsenic in malachite. I'm just here cleaning my slab. Everyone in the vertical stream Hello. If you want to see more paint making and more camera angles and a little bit more of a view, since you only see one part of my slab and the muller, check out my profile to see the other live stream where you can see all there is about making paint, and not only this narrow part that you're seeing right now. So I still see that there are some people joining the vertical stream. 805 people already visited that one, and there's only 20 of you here, so it's just a scrolling thing, I think. Okay, so while we are done with that, Claudia just shared something that I really do not understand. Well, I do understand like 3-4 words out of it, but to make a sentence out of that, which actually adds something to my knowledge, thank you, Paolo. In the meantime, I'm going to swatch the PG18 we made 2 weeks ago. As you can see, I just sprayed this wet. It's like literally it was dry before, and it is now a beautiful green. I'm so happy with this, since the other one, and Mark, you know about this, didn't make any sense. This one does. So reactivating, super easy, high pigment load on my brush. It is a transparent pigment, obviously, but I like this. Happy with this. Very happy with this. Let's have a look. This is all clean, and now we don't need it, but we will. Let's make yellow. Icelandic yellow. Matthias, you are from Iceland. Welcome. I'm going to reread everything about the malachite arsenic discussion later. And I really need to react on Sebastian first. Let's do 1.5 of these. And I'm quickly going to check a thing over here. Let's have a look. I really like the chat again today, guys. Very interesting. Sorry, I'm kind of I'm just reading without saying anything, which makes rewatching this live stream maybe quite weird. But if you do, just read the chat. Interesting stuff. So, but Mr. Pigment, malachite, is it toxic? Is it hazardous? Is it, it contains copper, right? And it's not something we want to inhale. So, okay, there you go. Thank you. Because I do want to, I do want everyone to know what the risks are of working with materials like that. And I know you and me and a few others here, you have some beautiful pigments that are way more toxic and dangerous than malachite, but I want everyone to understand that everything has its risks, even non-toxic pigments. Just tiny particles, inhaling tiny particles is bad for you long term. Some of them are really bad for you short term as well. So please be aware of that when you want to make your own paint, or when you're working with pigments. So as you can hear, the yellow one is a little bit more gritty. Also, the yellow one is a little bit more thirsty when it comes to the binder. Definitely more yellow than the other one was green. But as you can hear now as well, it's more gritty. I don't know what you were saying, Isabelle. What is this color called? Well, for me, it's Icelandic yellow. For you, since you were from Iceland, let me. Where did I put the pigment? Okay, there's not too many places that I could have put the screen there. Red is over there. Took that over there. I put that over there. There it is. Retracing my steps. This is the one. You can probably pronounce it. That's the region it's from, or at least I think it's a region. You can hear a clear difference now. Yeah, gelb is yellow in German. And in Dutch it's geel, which is also a complete different word. It's also geel in Afrikaans, which I believe. And Isabella, I still don't know what's going on. Yeah, Matthias, this is the Icelandic trio that well, Kramer made with them, so they sell it in their shop as well, which I bought it from them to sell it in my shop as paint. Just so you know, the super chats and the Sebastian, today to you, I'm putting those in a kind of a jar. Let's make that a virtual jar, and I'm saving up for some. We're talking about Kramer and pigments. They right now have a jade green pigment, which is new in their shop, originating from just one single source, and it's the greenest natural green there is. So I need to try that, but I don't have the funds for it, so I'm using that as a your gift. And everything that comes from YouTube as a saving spot for buying things like that. Since I won't use the pigment for selling it. It's like, I can actually look it up. I think it's 70 euros. There's my stream stuff is going on there. It's like 70 euros for 5 gram or something like that. And for just a pigment to try out, that's too much for me to actually sell as a paint. Or maybe I can offer some dots, but Gulchan, welcome. Wait, am I missing a lot here? I'm actually missing quite a lot, since now some people are talking about chimneys and roofs. I missed something, guys. I'm going to read that back later. But no, falling is no joke. I can agree with that. Although I don't know what you were talking about. Yeah, Gulchen, no, I got that, like, from context from what I said. But then Sentient and Isabey are talking about about roofing, I think. And I really missed something. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for I missed that part. Now it makes sense. Thought maybe some people are foraging pigments on their roof or something like that, which would be interesting. But I really appreciate Sebastian again. I'm really thankful and grateful. In the meantime, I'm just cleaning the Hagman gauge a little bit further so I can test it. Sebastian, don't be jealous of my collection. Well, you're free to feel jealous, but you will get a collection of your own, I'm sure. Yeah, Mr. Pigment, you can be jealous of my collection as well. Although I mean, yes, but there are some people that haven't worked with a lot of pigments you have worked with as well. So, in all fairness, you have the experience, but you don't have them like at home to work with or look at. Am I right? Let's crank up the light here a little bit. I do enjoy these shots. Yeah, Ian, it's the more sit that comes from a meteorite. Which is really weird when you pronounce it. Asphaltum is a pigment that's pretty much like asphalt. It even smells like it. Oh, glad to hear that. Or bitumen, yeah. Glad to hear that, Stephanie. Authentic Indian yellow. It is quite hard, although mummy may be even harder to get. But please know, I know that there's like videos about extinct pigment and old stuff and things like that, and I'm not going to name any channel or maker, creator, or whatever. But London purple is not a pigment. Just want to get that out there. Rick from the vertical stream. If you go to my channel, you can find a horizontal stream as well, which is way more active when it comes to the chat. So also when you hear me talking, it is to that chat mostly, Rick. Yeah. Mr. Pigment, we've talked about this before, but London purple is a dye. It was used for dyeing fabric. It has never been used as a pigment, and no paint was made out of it, as Mr. Pigment also says in the chat. Rick, welcome to the horizontal and full stream here. So that's that. Yeah, Gulchen, you probably do. I mean, those things went viral. Talking about envy, like, okay, yes, this is like a creator envy. Maybe if I call myself a creator, but yes, I think it's envy. Seeing how many views a video like that has, and just me thinking, but it's not even true. Please, everyone, what are you doing? But it's yeah, you know. If you know, you know. Let's test this one. But you know, I don't wanna say anything bad or negative about that. But it's just, you know, as last chat I said same thing about Tyrian purple, the mythical thing that is made out of snail glands, sea snail glands. Yes, but it's never been used as a pigment unless it was made or laked into a pigment. So, not the dye on its own. You cannot make paint out of that. I think this is spot on. Yeah, they do use protection. That's true. Nothing about that, as you know. Like I said, I don't want to be negative, but things like that, you know. And then after that video, I had a lot of messages to me if I could ever make it into a paint and blah blah blah. If I have it, why I don't have it. And I had to explain that to all those people. I'm collecting pigments, not dyes. And if a dye was laked into a pigment, then it is a pigment and I will collect it. Thank you, Mr. Pigment, for that funny addition of yours. Yeah, the toxic pigments. I have a the cupboard over there, which is my toxic pigment cupboard. That one. It has all the heavy metal stuff in there. So just things, you know. Every jar, if any of those jars fall over and break, I don't want to inhale it, but especially things with copper or cadmium or manganese or cobalt or chrome. What else do we have? Lead. There's loads of lead in there as well. You can think of more stuff. I don't want to have those accessible for my kids, although my studio is now in a in its own building, in its own space, so not attached to the house anymore. So it is a lot safer in that regard, but still, I don't want those to fall over, just as a precaution. Yeah, for mercury-based pigments as well, vermilion, cinnabar, arsenic, all those things, you know, in that cupboard. Crust up GMO breakfast cereals. Well, luckily they don't really sell those in Europe, Jeremiah. I recently saw a video where someone compares Fruit Loops from the US to Fruit Loops from Europe, and here they just have natural coloring. There's like only 3 colors. I think they use beetroot, carrots, and spirulina or something like for the green one, or leaf green from spinach or something like for coloring. And there's no high fructose stuff in there. There's no glucose. There's just I think there's like 12 ingredients for the entire box, whereas the US version had like a list of ingredients, which was quite mind-blowing, since I knew Fruit Loops from, you know, movies where I just saw them, you know, or online where I see the packages, and I noticed the difference in the cereal itself, how much color one had, and the lack of color here, but then I found out why. And they don't even taste like fruit. At least they don't here. Carmine is food coloring. Yeah, absolutely. It's still being used as food coloring, although not as much anymore. One of my daughters, she came to me and said, "Did you know that here in the Netherlands they have what we call roze koeken? Super sweet pink glaze, and it's not marzipan, but what is it? the filling of it with a butter pastry bottom. And she said, "Did you know it is made out of lice?" And then I thought, okay, what? But then I thought, okay, yeah, it's the pink food coloring that they used to use carmine for, but now not anymore. They never had fruit flavoring. Why are they called Fruit Loops? I know it's spelled differently, but no, I'm going to use that for swatching. There we go. These are my pens, so you can see them. And let's swatch it. I have a few tubes and little jars with cochineal bugs here as well, but at least Gulchan, it's absolutely true. I mean, they are, you know, when you Ian, I don't have a PO box, but I do have an address you can send it to. If you send me a message on Instagram or send me an email that is in my profile here, or my channel on my profile here on YouTube, I would appreciate it. What is the Kamala pigment that you have made, by the way? But, sorry, Gulchan, for the food industry, the dye, it's first been crushed up so fine, and then, you know, it's as a dye, it dissolves. Working with the, you know, the freeze-dried lice and a pigment, it's just, it's different. You can feel them and hear them. And as a food coloring, you actually don't have those aspects anymore, which is a good thing. It will be weird if you need to chew on your crust up lice. Pink color cookies. At least here it would be weird. This is more yellow, as you can see. But, Matthias, yes, okay, it is not, as I said before about the green as well, this is not the yellow that you would expect from a yellow ochre or a yellow pigment like one of these yellows. I mean, yes, this is yellow. I know, compared to that, I wouldn't say that's yellow, I would say it's brown. But as a natural pigment, it is more of a yellow. But yes, I agree, it's also a light brown. Sebastian, they actually found out it was made out of cow's urine. And I think a paper was released about that 2 years ago. Maybe 3 years ago already. Paolo says it as well. He backed me up. Thank you, Paolo. but it was. 2018 already. Oh, I thought it was way more recent. That I thought now maybe 2001, 21. Sorry, something. But 2018. So 6 years ago already. Okay, let's clean this up and let's make the red. What's the time? Oh, I think we can do this. We can do the red as well. If you're here and if you haven't liked the stream yet, please do so if you want to. I'm quickly just going to read the chat here. Well, they were fed only mango leaves, and it was said, and this is the process of how it was made, and it was described in only one source from 150 years ago, or 120, I think it was 150 years ago. Only one source that described how it was made. So they would collect the urine, and they would collect it in straw, where they would kind of let that dry, and the concentrated straw bowls, when the dried out thing was kind of collected and made into the bowls over there, were purified a bit. At least the large particles, like large straw strands, were taken out of it, and the pigment powder was then collected into bowls, shipped to the West, where it was here in the Netherlands and in the UK, as far as we know, purified into Indian yellow pigment used for paints. The one that I have is not purified, but I do have a shard of purified Indian yellow, which is way more yellow, but way more intense of a yellow, less gritty and less dirty, but equally as smelly. They smell really, really bad, like really bad. So it's something to keep in a glass jar that is airtight. You don't want to have that stench in your house at all. Well, the process was written down. It was, like I said, it was only one source, so there was a time when people said, okay, there's only one source, so how can we check it? But then the paper was released that it actually confirmed that it was bovine urine. So you could kind of take from that the rest of that wasn't made up, I think. I like to believe that. I know I have a bowl of dried cow's urine here in my collection, but on how it was made, there's only one source. And I don't think anyone tried after that, remade it in the way that they did, since it's unethical. So there's not really a way of telling how else they would have done it. So that's my kind of take on it. Let me grab a clean cloth. I say clean, but and this doesn't come out anymore. Oh, that's interesting, Ian. That sounds very interesting. I would love to try that. Isabelle, you have some original Indian yellow paint. That is awesome. Do they also smell? Because ever since I had the pigment, I never went after the antique paints again. I tried a couple of them, but they were way too expensive for me as, you know, a single pan or in a collection. Oh, Poppeya13, thanks for joining and have a great evening. Thank you. Oh, careful. Oh, you have a mango tree. The jealousy here, Mark. I want to have a mango tree as well, or a climate where they actually can grow, but, you know. Yeah, do tell if it works. That would be fantastic. And I would be happy to if you actually boil it into a pigment, boil it into something that can be made into a pigment. I'd be happy to make paint out of that here on a live. But Isabelle, do they smell? Okay, I'm very, very curious. I really want to know what happens to Mark. Okay, so this is clean. That is also very interesting, Jeremiah. Is that because of the content? I've lost the word. Ammonia? Is it ammonia? I think ammonia. What I mean. Is that used for it? I'm getting quite tired, guys, but as promised, I'm going to make Icelandic red as well. Urea. But what do they use nowadays for it? I want to know one thing. Let me just quickly grab some things here. I want to try some things out. Well, there are still some of you here. I want to do a quick test of something quite curious for. I'll share it later with you. Might be too coarse. I don't know. We'll have a look later. Okay, so continue making paint. You have a bag of urea as well? Oh wow. Okay. This is Icelandic red, and it is more blue than it looks on the camera. I don't know if it's my tablet, since it's almost 11 in the evening here, and the screen adjusts to the surrounding light, or if my colors are just way off today. Since the gray looked good, it's just a bit, this is just a bit too. It's not a lot better. It's just a bit, no, it's a bit better. But still. Yeah, Matthias, this is my, oh, sorry about that, my binder. Old bottle, but I refill it with every time from a glass bottle. Just catching up on a chat here. I see some interesting about. I need to read that back. PV80, yeah. PV16, PV23. I don't know why Ian is suggesting that. Gulchen, I've missed something, but hey, watercolorist, good evening, and thanks for saying hi. And I hope you have a great night. If you're already leaving, but Sebastian, there is a paper. Maybe someone can share it and has a link. There's a research paper that actually shares the entire. Yeah, okay, there we go. Thank you, Paolo. Matthias, this reminds you of chocolate. Well, it does look a little bit like the chocolate river from the first Charlie and the Chocolate Factory from the, what is it, 60s, 70s? The Gene Wilder version. That chocolate river had the same color as this. It wasn't really appetizing, to be honest, when I saw that. Not, you know, when it is supposed to be the creamiest, frothiest chocolate possible. It was just like brown dye in water. It went through the cows. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so I just noticed that I missed some chats. I fully missed some chats since my settings were different. That explains why I missed some stuff. Don't try it, Mark. I would say you don't have the stomachs for it, but that's an internal cow joke, I think. But yeah. Eat mango leaves and only mango leaves. And drink as little water as possible. Please, no one do that. Ever. Let's first test it. That's about right. Also, for these kind of pigments, is this handmade gauge important, but swatching is as important as that. Thank you for that, Mr. Pigment. Where is it? There it is. Let's have a look. There we go. The Icelandic trio, all swatched out. What paper am I using? I am using the collection from Muller, 300 grams. Cold press. This is. it's quite a beautiful set as it is. Yeah. Phoenician is a bit warmer. I need to have a look if this would show it better. I think these colors are actually way better. This is actually quite close to what it looks like, I think. But it's difficult since I need to check how it is on my tablet. Yeah, my tablet is a bit warmer than my my screen. Okay, Paolo, have a great evening. Oh, there was one more thing. Maybe you can stay for like 2 minutes. Maybe. I don't know if it's possible for you to join us for this. I want to try one more thing, but I don't know if it works. So that's a bit of the issue. But I just want to try it, and if it doesn't work, you'll know in a minute. So the interesting thing about this pigment, the Icelandic pigments, it is clearly not an red earth, and where you can see that, and I'm just going to check if we can see that here. Let's have a look if I can get my camera here in the right position. I can't get it in the right position, or just maybe it won't work during the live. Nah, I can't get it to work, guys. Okay, so I need to I wanted to put my phone on my microscope to share what I saw. Thank you, Mark, for joining as well. Have a great day. I'm going offline in a minute as well, guys. I'm just filling these pens, but unfortunately I want to try to use my phone camera for my microscope, but unfortunately that didn't work. So I'm going to try to do that next live stream and just take my time for it. The interesting part about it, in a red earth, you can actually see where the light comes, like from the bottom. You can actually see the red shining through the minerals in under the microscope. Here it is a volcanic pigment, and it doesn't let light through. So the difference between a red earth and this is, you see just black specks here where the light just doesn't shine through. It's not translucent. And with red earth it is. So I actually wanted to show you the difference, but it doesn't work. If anyone has any questions or maybe suggestions for next week's live stream, please drop them in the chat so we can talk about it or think about it. I have an adapter for my phone, but the thing is with my iPhone, it has 3 lenses, and in the default mode it switches to the preferred lens. When you close up something, you know, you have the 1x zoom lens, and when you close up it goes to the wide angle for the macro lens, and the microscope only has like one eyepiece, so if it switches the lens, it's not aligned with the eyepiece anymore, which makes it impossible to focus or get right. Thank you, Trua. Sorry about that. Thank you very much. Although I did get the comments that last week was better, quality-wise, but thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And since we are talking about that, let's just show you the... Now I think this is the better color. I don't know. It's those are different cameras, different brands. Maybe that is something I should have avoided, but I worked with what I had, and I bought one extra webcam, this one, to replace my phone. But I work with what I have for the oh, okay, sorry, writer. For this, same with, you know, my videos about pigments and me making paint and stuff like that. I just use my phone for filming those. I do have a few microphones, since I think, you know, picture should be good, but especially when I'm talking and, you know, trying to teach things. Sound should be at least, if not better, at least as good, if not better. And hopefully that's the case again this week. So these are my quarter filled red pens, Icelandic trio. All 3 are non-Newtonian fluids, yes. Although this is a little bit more, I call it thirsty. It absorbs the moisture a lot. So it's not only non-Newtonian when you don't move it, it also gets drier, really, literally a lot faster. So there is a noticeable difference when making these paints, working with these pigments. These will probably crack a little bit more easy than the other ones, but hey. So if there's no more questions or whatsoever, I'm just going to clean this up, and I'm slowly going to, oh, one pen fell over, that's a shame. I'm slowly going to wrap things up here. And I would like to thank everyone, Sebastian, you especially, but I want to thank everyone here in the chat for making it a great live stream again. Really, thank you very much. Since every week, every time I go live, you kind of give back so much and add so much to the conversation. I'm really grateful for that. So thanks for joining the chat. Thanks for joining the live stream. It is my pleasure to showing you everything I do, everything I have and make here. That's what I do. That's what I really enjoy, is talking about it, making it, working with it, and sharing it with you guys. I do have a colorimeter as well, which is this one. It's a NYX Spectro 2, which is also a spectrometer. I might be able to show you that since we're still here. Let's connect it and let's measure. Let's measure the Icelandic green, for instance. So let's share the screen with you, and we are going to measure the Icelandic green. There we go. This is the spectral reflectance curve for the Icelandic green. So I'm here as well. Hello everyone. Icelandic yellow. Let's see. Yes, that's better. And the Icelandic red. And they're all quite desaturated. So the spectrometer readings, spectral reflectance curves, great for testing stuff, and you know, having more. That was sharp. Having more knowledge about what pigments do, how they reflect light, so why you see what you see, and what they do, what you don't see. Since some pigments just reflect infrared a lot, which we don't see. So that's quite interesting. So I'm going offline. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining. Oh, and that was really sharp since that cut my finger. Let's clean that. Thanks everyone, and hopefully see you next time.